Hello and welcome to the afternoon market update from Nirmal. I'm Hiral Bhatia. Clearly, it has been a volatile session of trade. In fact, yesterday's session, we actually broke the gain streak. Today as well, if you go to see Indian markets, they're actually trying to manage to keep their heads above water. At least this was the phase in early morning deals. And this was mainly because they were tracking positive cues from the Asian markets. Clearly, you have the broader markets who are outperforming the benchmark indices in trade, and there were strong gains coming in on that front. Overall, if you go to see now, we have seen that volatile session that does continue because we have been swinging between the day's highs as well as the day's lowest levels. Overall, if you see Nifty 50 as well, we did hit an intraday high of almost 10,147, but from there we did dip to lows of almost 10,040. But interestingly, Nifty has held on above that 10,000 mark, so that's an interesting point that we need to note. Right now, we're seeing gains of almost around 8 tenths to 9 tenths of a percent that are coming in on Nifty 50. Whereas if you see on the Sensex as well, right now, again, there is that positivity that does continue on Sensex. Overall, right now, Sensex is also seeing gains of almost around 170 to 180 odd points. 0.5% up move. We are above that 34,150 mark in today's day of trade. In terms of broader markets as well, let's quickly understand as to what the BSE mid cap and the small cap index are doing. Right now, if you go to see almost gains in the range of 1 to 2% coming in terms of the mid cap as well as the small cap index. So clearly there is outperformance coming in from the broader markets. And simultaneously, if you see what's happening with Bank Nifty as well, yesterday we saw Bank Nifty cut almost around 500 points, but there is a recovery of almost around 350 odd points that's coming in on Bank Nifty. Right now, Bank Nifty is up almost around 1.5% to almost around 2%. That's the range that we're picking up right now. So there is support coming in from components of Bank Nifty, wherein you have stocks like RBL Bank, IDFC First, Federal Bank, Bandhan Bank, PNB. These are a few of the top gainers coming in from Bank Nifty. Overall, if you go to see the VIX, that is down around 2.9%. And very interestingly, VIX has subsided to levels of around 29 already. So that's an interesting factor that we have been watching out for. Moving away from these markets, and if you see in terms of the individual sectors as well, it's a pretty mixed mood that we have been picking up, but still the breadth in terms of sectors also is favoring the bulls. The sectors which are losing out right now is mainly the technology space, which is under pressure, as well as the FMCG pack, which is down and about on the BSE. So it's IT and FMCG which are losing in today's day of trade, but barring both these sectors, all the other sectors are trading in the positive. You have basic materials, which is seeing gains of almost around 2.5 to 3%. Metals is seeing strong moves. 4% is the kind of up move that we're seeing on BSE metal index, which is then followed by power as well, which is seeing smart gains. Oil and gas, real estate, industrials, these are a few of the other sectors which are on an uptrend in today's day of trade. In terms of the market breadth, that's clearly moved in favor of the bulls in today's day of trade. So on NSE, we've seen almost little over 1,400 stocks which are advancing, whereas on the declining end, it's only around 300 odd stocks. So clearly there is that positivity that again continues, but whether this will continue or the volatility will start increasing, which will take us lower, that's something that we need to watch out for. Overall, if you see in terms of individual stocks as well, you have stocks like Tata Motors, Bharti Infratel, Tata Steel, JSW Steel, and Hindalco. These are a few of the top gainers coming in today's session, whereas on the losing end, you have TCS, Bajaj Auto, HUL, Infosys, as well as Tech Mahindra. In the broader markets, Hexaber Technology is the top gainer. In fact, that stock is locked in upper circuit. Jindal Hisar is seeing gains of almost 18 to 19%. Zensar Technologies, Venkeys, Shankara Building Products, Vodafone, Raymond, these are counters which are seeing gains of upwards of 13 to almost around 20% in trade. Whereas on the losing end, you have stocks like Chalet Hotel, Capri Global, Shoppers Stop, AU Small Finance Bank, as well as a Trident, which are losing in trade. Cipla, Reliance Industries, as well as Sun Pharma Industries, these three counters are trading at a 52-week high in today's day of trade. Whereas if you see on the losing end, there are no stocks that have actually hit a 52-week low. On broader markets, you have stocks like Biocon, GMM Pfaudler, Lupin. You talk about even the likes of alkyl amines, Chemical. These are few of the counters which have actually hit a 52-week high, whereas Rajesh Exports and Responsive Industries continue to trade at a 52-week low. In terms of movers and shakers, you have Nugent Software Technologies. They've unveiled new AI ML-based document classification service, and that's something which gives support to this counter. L&T has gained because the construction arm has backed an order for heavy civil infrastructure business. So on the back of an order, when you have L&T, which is seeing smart gains. TTK Prestige is up in trade as well. APL Apollo Tubes is seeing smart gains. Lupin has received European market authorization for Nepexto biosimilar of etanercept. So that's one of the reasons why you're seeing smart gains coming in on Lupin. Ashoka Leland is another one which is seeing smart gains in today's session of trade. Apart from these stocks, let's see which are the other ones which are seeing smart gains. So Cadila Healthcare, as we already mentioned, US FDA has granted final approval to the company for marketing the atazanavir capsules in strengths of 150, 200 and 300 mg. And that's the reason why we are seeing smart gains on that one. In terms of Apollo, APL Apollo Tubes as well, that stock is seeing gains of almost a little over 7.5%. So good moves coming in on that counter. Tata Motors is the a 10% up move is what we saw on Tata Motors. In fact, this is the biggest single day gain that we've seen on this stock in almost almost a month. And in the last couple of trading sessions, if you go to see around 10 to 12 trading sessions, the stock has seen gains of little over 30% already. Apart from that, if you talk about Sun Pharma, again, that's another stock to focus on in today's session of trade. All Cargo Logistics, they've said that they've seen significant disruptions in the equipment business. However, the stock was up almost 7.5%. So a lot of individual counters that are movers and shakers in today's session. The action is completely with regards to broader markets, which are clearly outperforming the benchmark indices in trade. The volatility is, there in today's market, but we've not broken that 10,000 mark so far. So that's an interesting point that we need to factor in over here. And the advance decline ratio is pretty much in favor of the advances. That's all that we have in the afternoon market update from Nirmal Bang. In fact, you could subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook for more updates. Thank you.